Phyllis Diller has made her character of the Harridan housewife famous. In private, of course, she's quite a different person. Her humor is a shield, as it is for so many people, a kind of protection against real life. She has spoken already about things that she secretly, desires that she secretly harbors. She'd love to be a musician. When I met Phyllis Diller this week, of course, I met not one Phyllis Diller, but two, the nightclub performer and the television comedian that we all know, and also the serious actress, the woman who's been through 2 divorces, who has done a lot of living and loving, and is a very charming, warm person. Here she is. How did you become a comedian? When did you start to be funny? What made you start laughing at things?
It's the only way to survive. Healthily, you know. People who cry are so unwanted.
But as a youngster, was there a lot of pain then that you wanted to cover up?
Well, the pain of puberty, you know, when you become a teenager and you were neither fish nor fowl, it was my way of covering that uncomfortable time in life. That's when I really became, I didn't know I was becoming a comic, but that's when I built that kind of a shell rather than painful shyness that you never get over. I would say funny things in a group to allay everyone's timidity, not only my own. I found that anything to break the ice. Otherwise, these teenagers stand around, well, you know, and boys are even worse. Somebody puts a suit on them and sends them to the prom, they don't know what to do.
Maybe other people would like to be funny, but they wouldn't succeed. How do you get to be really funny when you feel like being funny? Does that just come from practice? What do you think makes you funny?
Well, some people, in trying to be funny, are very unfunny. These are people who don't have any kind of a bent in that direction, and they're pitiful. They should not try if they're unsuccessful. I guess I just came out of the kind of a family where there was a great sense of humor and much fun poked at everyday things. So I had a background for being funny in a very normal, natural way. It wasn't forced funny. Forced funny is painful to see.
Everything was funny then. The family could laugh at themselves
they
and
laughed
each
at
other.
Things. Like if my father racked up the car, it became a family joke later, not at the time. But see, all comedy is tragedy revisited. Depending on its seriousness, the time that must lapse. If it's a small tragedy and happened this morning, by evening it's funny. But if it's a large tragedy, like say the Titanic, years must lapse before it can be a joke.
You look beautiful, Phyllis Diller, and you're also an accomplished musician.
I may have talent, but I'm certainly not accomplished.
You haven't practiced enough, you mean?
That's it.
You'd like to.
I'd love to.
You have played with symphony orchestras here in Canada on a couple of occasions.
Yes, I'm 35 to be exact, and I do a fair job because I also am funny. Not while I'm playing, particularly, but between each number there's funny stuff, because I present a certain image, which is completely different from the nightclub image. It's a grande dame for the symphony audience. It's geared to that audience.
Is that an act as well?
Of course.
It's another act. Is it hard to leave humor behind, or do you want to leave it behind and explore these other areas? Serious acting or music?
Oh, I love serious acting. That would be very nice. I'd love to do that. Not necessarily a tragedy, but serious acting is a fun. It's nice.
Can you do it? I mean,
yes,
will you get the opportunity to do it?
Oh, I'm a fine actress, but I'm not offered those opportunities.
Why not?
Because you've heard of typecasting.
Yeah.
Well,
I can't believe it still exists. Everybody's talked about it so much.
But I'm typecast not only in casting people, but in the public. I'm typecast to the Harridan that I'm known as on stage. They don't believe that there's anyone else. They think that I go to bed looking like that. And they think that I go to the store looking like that and acting like that.
Yeah. I go to bed looking like that, so I don't know how I look like that right now.
I get up looking like that.
Well, tell me, your act right now in Toronto, is it an act that you can keep up? I guess it's been criticized. Is it something that's passé, though? Have people had enough of the Harridan Phyllis Diller, do you think?
Well, if they have, I'm out of work.
Why?
I would have to go to the poorhouse on the way home, because that's my livelihood.
Well, what about those other things? Are you afraid to go seriously
I'm not
into
afraid.
music?
Of course. Oh, my dear, I wouldn't stand a chance. See, I can only do it as a how many symphonies are there? I mean, I don't have an in-depth repertoire. I have created half a symphony program. In other words, I do the whole second half. And it's all I can do. I couldn't do it as I'm not good enough to do it as a whole living.
You don't think you could be?
For heavens, no.
There's not.
No, there's no way I could.
You don't want.
I'd have to practice 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
And I couldn't possibly do that.
May I ask you about your personal life?
Sure.
You joke about it a lot. Obviously, that's another way of, well, it's a source of material and it's a way of living with things.
No, my dear, I joke about it because I'm expected to joke about it.
Yeah.
You see, it's better than telling the truth.
You've been divorced, and I guess that's a painful experience
Very.
for most people.
Very painful.
How do you deal with that?
You cry.
Yeah.
No, this time I didn't cry. I was separated so many times because of huge upsets from my latest husband. But the fact that we kept going back together shows how difficult it was to ever part. And I'm much happier alone. You know, as a matter of fact, this is 35 years of marriage that I've just completed. And it's a wonderful thing to be a free agent for the first time in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm enjoying my freedom.
Was it habit more than anything that was hard to break?
No.
Once the marriage
It wasn't.
is gone?
No, I don't. Maybe it was. I shouldn't say that it wasn't. No, I had a true feeling for my second husband. I stayed with my first husband 25 years, although it wasn't a happy marriage. But back that long ago, you not only had ironing to do, but you had other mores. Divorce was not as common. Now people don't even get married, so that could cure the divorce problem.
People think that people in show business, whether it's television or nightclubs or Hollywood, are more susceptible to marriage breakups. And I'm not sure why, but I have a feeling that it's not a good thing.
No, I'll tell you why. There's a competitive problem in a showbiz marriage, providing both of them are in showbiz. If they both aren't in it, it's a fine marriage, frequently. But there are just as many unhappy marriages out there with ordinary people. It's just that the showbiz breakups are publicized.
Sure, front page headlines.
Yes.
Have you got time for leisure? Do you have free time, and what do you like to do with it? Phyllis
Well,
Diller.
I consider talking to you a certain kind of leisure. It's fun. And
Is it fun?
Yes, yes.
It's not work.
Well, no, it's not work. Anything connected with my work is really not work until I have to write or do something that's creative and really apply the seat of the pants and work.
Yeah.
That's work for me. As long as I'm flitting around, I'm happy. I think I was meant to be a butterfly.
I wish you success.
Thank
Again,
you.
thank you.